more time.
Welcome to Real Estate Soup with Mike Osterman.
All right, so we got a story out of Santa Barbara coming to us from the Santa Barbara Independent by Tyler Hayden. Now, this goes back a year, and then it goes back another year, and then it goes back a decade because it's a story about a homeowner in 2012 decided to avoid foreclosure by filing paperwork, doing things that were illegal, and essentially trying to well, as in her notes said, get a free house. So the story starts out, the things we do for love. Santa Barbara government official charged with helping girlfriend avoid arrest. Now that's just the basic, the story does not even come close to that's what happened. Because what happened is amazing. We have a person who filed multiple LLCs, multiple bankruptcies. She ended up partnering up with this government official who was, as we'll see, part of the traffic department. She is a ukulele instructor, and she's, free house. So we've got all kinds of stuff here. It starts out, Ken Epperson faces 5 felony counts of accessory after the fact. And it goes to say that a few days before summer solstice of 2022, Kim Van Dyke was a fugitive from the law. She skipped her arraignment for felony charges and fraud and conspiracy in an alleged free housing scheme. Remember the free house? And was instead pedaling down State Street in a pair of fairy wings in a solstice parade workshop. Again, the lead does not cover. Anyhow, riding with Van Dyke on their tandem bicycle was her boyfriend, Kent Epperson, a longtime city cycling advocate and director of traffic solutions for the Santa Barbara County Association of Governments, or SBCAG, SCABAG. Before the couple could reach their destination and begin work on the pink party float, district attorney investigators pulled them over, put Van Dyke in handcuffs. Epperson filmed the encounter and told the investigators they had no authority to over them and they were kidnapping his partner. He demanded to see an arrest warrant with ink signature from a judge. So, and all the while, the Van Dyke and Epperson were dressed in pink costumes. There's a lot of drinks and pinks and all this stuff in here. The investigators wrote in their narrative, the event was memorable, to say the least. So here's what's going on. Van Dyke would spend the next 4 days in jail. Epperson coached her over the phone on how to address the judge during the upcoming hearing. Now, he told her she was a living, breathing woman, a child of God, an ambassador to the kingdom of heaven. He instructed her not to sign any documents. Now, he's not an attorney, but he's a sovereign citizen ideology. Do not believe that the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office or the Santa Barbara Superior Court have any legal power over them. Van Dyke was temporarily released from jail in order to appear back in court, but she was again a no-show, and another warrant was issued for her arrest. So now she's been tied up in this whole thing. She knows she's in trouble, and she goes on the run again. Thus began a year-long game of cat and mouse between authorities and a couple that ended in this August with Van Dyke back behind bars and Epperson doing 6 weeks of jail, of his own jail time. He faces 5 felony counts of accessory after the fact for harboring and aiding a fugitive, and a longer sentence if convicted. They've pled not guilty to the charges. The prosecutors outlined 3 specific ways in which Van Dyke carried out her alleged crimes. Their evidence primarily came from hundreds of phone conversations she recorded with her co-conspirator, as well as unwitting bank and government employees. Ironically and unfortunately for Van Dyke, said prosecutors, those recordings chronicle a stark detail of illegal schemes that she was engaged in and provided the best evidence against her in this case. Her first way of stalling the foreclosure was filing perjured, false, and fraudulent documents with the county clerk's recorder's office to cloud the title. And the second described by Van Dyke and one of her co-conspirators as shadow bankruptcy. She allegedly used personal information stolen from individuals who were filing for bankruptcy to obtain a number of automatic stays on her pending foreclosure. Now, if anybody knows about foreclosures, a bankruptcy is one way you can stall or postpone a foreclosure, but it doesn't do it forever. And in this case, it was one of her tools for postponing the thing. In total, Coda says Van Dyke succeeded in living mortgage and rent-free in a Santa Barbara house worth about $800 to $1 million for 6 years and 4 months. So ultimately, she was living for free, but as we're about to find out, it doesn't work out. The end of the road. Van Dyke, a ukulele teacher with no prior criminal record, remains in custody on $700,000 bail. Now, this is 2023, and we're going to have an update later on this whole matter, but anyhow, Epperson, meanwhile, is out on $200,000 bails, remains an active employee with the Santa Barbara CA Skebag, where he's worked for the past 19 years as an energetic and efficient proponent of alternate transportation. Remember, he was arrested on a bicycle. He was recently on hand at Galida's City Council meeting to accept a proclamation for a new e-bike safety campaign. So the guy's, at least he's promoting the riding a bike for anyhow. We remain committed to providing a safe and productive work environment for all of our employees while upholding the ethical and legal standards of our agency is bound. Making matters even more complicated, Epperson is also suing the city of Santa Barbara, which pays him an annual salary of $120,000 for religious discrimination. So this whole thing is just got, you've got fake filings, you got bankruptcy, you got more fake filings, you got religious discrimination. Anything except accepting responsibility for what they did. We get to the interesting part where DA investigators warned Epperson about the penalties for hiding an unwanted person. Oh yeah, so he started hiding her in his house, and say that those with knowledge of his criminal case have expressed concern that Epperson, who works for Santa Barbara County government, is accused of intentionally deceiving another city Santa Barbara County government agency. Staking out in Epperson's house, logging overtime, and installing monitoring and tracking device on his Prius, which could have been avoided if Epperson had been cooperative. So he was aiding and abetting a fugitive from the city that he was trying to, anyhow. They honed in on Van Dyke and her camper in August 2018. They followed Epperson to Tucker's Grove. She had parked there after returning from a road trip, and Epperson fled in a Prius, and ultimately she was arrested, and he has filed a petition for extension to file overdue paperwork, and ended up in a whole lot of trouble. Had you just held on to the house, and here we are in 2024, I imagine that house is worth more than the $1 million that she thought. Let me hear your comments, questions below. We'll have a follow-up. Have a good day.
Thank you for watching Real Estate Soup with Mike Osterman.